Ho ho ho! Merry Christmas, everyone, and happy holidays and happy New Year's. Hope everybody's having a good time during this, holiday season. Recently, I just did my own Christmas event a couple weeks ago at my local gaming store, and while I was doing it, I took some pictures and recorded. So I wanted to share that experience with you guys as like my first little kind of semi-battle report on this channel. My event had, or what I did for my event was, took the GW Christmas battle plan. We played that, but with some extra special house rules on top of it. I'll explain that in a second. And I also made my own homebrewed game as well, which I could probably show you guys later on in the video too. So yeah, I only recorded and took pictures of the first game we did, and I didn't really intend to make a battle report out of it with the pictures and video, so it's not going to be like a normal battle report video where it's like an hour long or something. Probably like 10 minutes of me just going over what happened and the rules of the game and how it all went. So but it's all Christmas themed and really cool and fun, so I hope you guys enjoy it. So if you guys want to see this, stick around and I show you guys how it went.
Shurfrousky's Cult of Nine.
The first game we played was GW's battle plan, called Search for the Abominable Snowman. But we also added some of our own special rules on top of it too, so I'll show you guys that in a second. But let's look at the battle plan itself. So basically, you're searching for that new Red Goblin mini that came out, where he's like throwing the bomb and has the snowman behind him, right? He's used as like a token for this game. The battle plan starts off as how most games do, right? You can do like a 60x44 map. You can do like 1,000 points, 2,000 points, whatever is appropriate. It even says you use, advanced rules like the commands, terrain, magic, command models, all that kind of stuff. So like a full game, normal full game rules, right? Instead of an attacker and defender, they just call it the cracker and slayer, just making it for the thematic, right? But it's the same concept. The terrain is a little different. It's kind of the same terrain rules as usual, 3 inches from the battlefield edge and 6 inches away from other terrain. But the only types of terrain you're using is the winter terrain feature, which is medium obscuring, and snowdrift, which is small obstacles. So there's no like places of power or hills or trees. It's just those are the type of terrain you're using. Of course, you can put down whatever you want, right? But it just has to follow these rules if you're going to play by these rules. It's 5 rounds like typical game. They give you a special movement ability that you use while playing the game, called Snow Search. So when you're next to the winter terrain feature, which is the medium-sized ones in the middle of the map, and basically any unit next to that terrain feature can check it, and you roll for it. And on a 6, you find the Red Goblin, basically, or what they call the Abominable Snowman. And then you take your Red Goblin token and you put him next to the unit that found him, and now he's holding on to him. And basically the point of the game is you want to hold on to the Red Goblin to the very end of the game, and that's how you win. So yeah, if you have him, you're going to take him and try to hide him away and have your other units protect him. And if you don't have him, then obviously you're going to try to attack and get to him and kill him. And it even says if the unit that's holding the Red Goblin is destroyed before removing that model, or the last model from that unit, if there's a friendly unit next to that within 12 inches, friendly as in like the enemy, right? So like the opponent, if their unit's within 12 of the model that died, then the Red Goblin token would go to them. But if there is nobody next to the unit that died that was holding it, so like, it got probably killed from range by a spell or a ranged weapon, then finding the Red Goblin kind of resets, and you have to like go back to the terrain and roll on it again to see if you can find him again. And that's the whole premise of GW's mission. That's what it is. Alright, so now I'll go over the homebrew rules that I made to go on top of this game mode. I call it the gift that keeps on squigging, because basically it's you get these little squig gifts from the Red Goblin or something like that. That's kind of like the narrative of it. And the squigs give you different types of buffs. So at the start of the hero phase, the active player will actually pick the enemy unit to give a gift. They roll d6 and apply the result. There are 6 different colors of squig. On a 1, it's purple squig, which is a -1 hit to be hit. On a 2, it's a red squig, so you get +3 movement. On a 3, it's the yellow squig, so you get +1 wound to all your weapons. 4 is a bomb squig, so that's kind of interesting. We gave it a 12-inch range. Kind of works like how most abilities go off, where it's you roll d3, and on a 2-up, you do mortals equal to the roll. And also with this, you can shoot it in combat. But if you do shoot it in combat, the damage can also apply to you. So kind of that narrative thematic thing of like, it's a bomb squig, it's an explosion, blows up, right? If you're gonna shoot it in combat, you're gonna hurt yourself because it's an explosion. So that's kind of the narrative thematic reason behind that. The black squig is a 6-up ward, and just like kind of how some other abilities in AOS normally do too. If you already have a ward, then it kind of gives you a better ward than that. So, and then on a 6, if you roll a 6, you get a blue squig. This is just a +1 hit to all weapons. And that's all the squig buffs you can get. And then units can have multiple squigs on them, but you just can't have the same buff. So you can still kind of get ridiculous with it, but not too overpowered by like, giving somebody +4 hit or whatever, right? So when you're making your rolls and you do end up getting the same buff as that you already have, you just roll it again and try to get something different. And that's also kind of why having the bomb squig is kind of good too, just in case, because if for some reason you do have all the buffs, then at the very least you can just always get a bomb squig, and you can just get a bomb squig, shoot it at someone, do it like that if that ever happens in a game mode. Most likely it wouldn't, but it's possible. Depends how crazy you would want to make it be, right? So it's always up to the players and maybe the TO if it's an event. That's the rules for the first battle and the battle plan. So here are the rules I made for this battle. The lists were only 1k lists. Didn't do any faction terrain or endless spells with the list building, and no unique heroes as well. Kind of wanted this first game mode to be a little more relaxed and easy, especially if there's any like new players playing. So kind of simplify it, don't have to worry about the extra stuff, and no unique heroes just because it's kind of a typical narrative thing to not usually play with them. And I'll go over the list that everybody brought as well. Again, I didn't really plan to make this really be a battle report video, so I don't have like the full details of everything, like the enhancements and battle traits and all that stuff. And I didn't ask them to send me a list either, so I don't have that information. So it's gonna be a pretty simple overview of the list, just gonna tell you what they have, and that's really it. So we'll start with my army. So I was playing the Stormcast. I had a Knight Vixilor, Annihilators, Vindicators, Knight Arcanum, which is the Wizard, the Chariot, and Vanquishers. And then my partner for the mission, he was playing the Osag Bone Reapers. I believe he had a Mortician Bone Shaper, the Gothazar Harvester, Mortek Guard, and a Mortek Crawler. For the Orc player, he had a Mega Boss on Maw Crusher, a Gore Gruntas, and that's it. So very simple, straightforward. And the next player, he was playing, all trolls with the Gloomspite Gitz faction. He had a Dankhold Trogboss, Dankhold Troga, and the Rocket Troggets. Also, for the battle, we did a 2v2. So yeah, it was me as Stormcast with the Osag Bone Reapers player against the Orcs and the Trogs. Alright, so let's get into round 1. When we rolled for initiative, it was the Orcs and the Trogs that won that initiative roll, so they went first. I think first we started off with doing the gifts. We kind of deviated a little bit from like what the rules I've written were. The active players give the gift out during their turn, and then the next round, that's when the other players would give it out. But we decided that at the very beginning of the whole round that we both would just give gifts to each other for both armies. So that's kind of the way we did it. I think the gifts that were given were one of the Trog units got the black squig, so they got that ward. And I think my Chariot got a squig gift too, and that was the ward or their +1 to wound. I think the Mega Boss might have got a gift. I can't remember what it was. Might have also just been a ward or something. I can't remember. And then they started moving. They moved up. The Mega Gargant was coming down the flank towards the gingerbread house. All the pig riders were running up down the middle. Now remember, for the game mode, you're supposed to have a unit at one of those middle terrain pieces to search it to get the red gobbo. So that's kind of what everybody was setting up to do. So that's kind of really what happened that whole turn, was just all the movement just getting set up. So the orc player went first with checking the terrain to see if they could find a red gobbo, and lucky enough for them, they actually did on the very first terrain piece and roll to find the red gobbo, or the snowman, whatever you want to call him, right? Same thing. They did it. They rolled a 6, they got him, and it was on his pig riders, so a very good unit to have him on. And so he got very lucky with that. He got him in the very first turn of the game, so lucky for them. And since they don't have any like shooting, if I remember correctly, that's all that really happened. They just moved up, got the snowman, and that was really it. So now we'll go to the Stormcast and the OCI Bone Reaper's turn. Same thing, we gave gifts out, I believe, because when looking through, I see like double gifts on a unit on my chariot. So I think for round 1 we did it like twice with the gift giving. But yeah, we gave gifts out. Again, my chariot got like either the ward squig or the wound squig, can't remember. OCI Bone Reaper player got some squig gifts too. Actually, I think the OCI Bone Reapers got the bomb squig. This might also have been when the Mega Guardian got the wound, the yellow squig. And then I think when the smaller trogs, they got a black squig too. Not too much crazy stuff happened. The chariot, my loadout with the chariot was like the melee version, so there was no shooting. I did my spell casting with my wizard, and he's only at 1 cast, and everything else is like a debuff spell within like a 12-inch range or something, I believe. Option I had was to do the damage spell, which is just, it just damages like the closest target. So I think that was the Mega Guardian. So he was able to get a blast off on him. I don't think it was too crazy. It might have been like 1 or 2 wounds that got through. Nothing too crazy with the magic phase. OCI Bone Reaper's player, I don't think he had too much he could have done either. Maybe he did a buff or a debuff. I don't think he was really in range to do much either from the hero phase. Then we moved our guys up. Pretty simple, straightforward too. We just moved everybody up the middle. Since we know that the pig riders on the left flank had the snowman, we kind of had to concentrate our guys over there. Oh yeah, sorry, I forgot to say too. Since Stormcast, you can put guys in reserve basically, right? Like I think like half or less into the heavens, right, to be able to be like deep strike down. So I had my Vanquishers, which is the 2-handed sword guys, and my Annihilators in the heavens, just waiting to be dropped down. So I was saving them to drop them a little later. Maybe they kind of trap and get the pig guys. That's my kind of plan with them. But yeah, we just moved up the middle. Didn't have enough room to even really charge anybody. And with my spear guys, I didn't really want to charge, so I was kind of happy just to kind of let them sit there. I think I was trying to charge with my chariot, but I think I failed it, or I was out of range. So that never really happened. But oh yeah, the Bone Reaper's player has his catapult. I believe he was shooting at someone. I don't think too much damage happened. I think he was just shooting at the trolls in front of him, or the trogs in front of him. And that's all he did in his shooting phase. And yeah, that's all that really happened with us. Not much shooting, no charging, no combat really. We're just all kind of getting set up for round 2. So for round 2, the orcs and trogs got initiative. They start by moving their pig rider unit away from everybody, trying to keep the snowman safe. So they just kind of retreat him towards the back middle of their field. Meanwhile, they also sent the mega boss and another unit of the pig riders up towards the Stormcast and try to get a charge off on them. The Trogs kind of do the same. They're just moving their guys up and towards the Bone Reapers and kind of making a nice defensive wall to prevent us from breaking through to get to the pig riders holding the snowman. And the mega boss is continuing up the left side of the flank. He's able to make a charge into the chariot, and he does a pretty good job with that chariot too. I believe he ends up destroying it pretty easily. The chariot's not the most tough thing to fight. And same with his a unit of his pig riders. He's able to charge them into that front rank of those Stormcast Vindicators, the spearmen. As far as the Trogs, they don't get any charges off for this second round. I believe they're still setting up and getting positioned and ready to charge into some of the Bone Reapers, while also trying to position and move around the field. Yeah, that when the pigs fight the Stormcast Vindicators, they don't do too well. They're not able to put enough of a dent into them, and the Vindicators are able to slap back pretty hard. I think in the first round they were able to kill I think 2 of them out of a 3-man unit, so only one of them survives into round 3. For the Orcs and Trogs round 2, that's pretty much it. Alright, so now for the Stormcast and Bone Reaper's turn. For the Stormcast, just cast another damaging spell at the Mega Boss. I think during the engagement, I can't remember how, but he was able to, I think he used some kind of ability after he got done killing the chariot to be able to charge over into the Osiak Bone Reaper's Mortet Guard. So that's what he was able to do, I believe, at the end of round 2, or maybe after the combat phase. Can't remember exactly when. So he's over there, but yeah, my wizard just casted a damage spell at him. Can't remember what the Bone Reaper's wizards did. They might have just done some more buffs or a damage spell as well. Then when it came to movement phase, since some of us were locked up in combat, you know, most of us stayed where we were at. The Stormcast chariot's already dead, but for the Stormcast, we dropped our guys down. So the Vanquishers and the Annihilators we had in reserves, we dropped them down to the field to go after the Pig Riders that has the Snowman. And actually, you can kind of see now, by this time we actually swapped out the Snowman token and put the Red Gobbo in there, or actually the Red Gobbo is the Grotmas Gitz, it's the official model name, but you put that in instead to be the token, because everybody just liked the way that model looked instead of just a snowman. So we dropped him down and swapped him out, so now the Pig Riders are taking the Grotmas Gitz ransom. My Vanquishers and Annihilators are set up to charge at him and take back the Grotmas Gitz. I believe the Bone Reapers just kind of kept moving their guys up. They were sending a unit of Mortet Guard towards the Trogs, and their was it the Bone Shaper too? They were going towards them, while the Mage and the other unit of Mortet Guard stood back to fight the Mega Boss. And the Catapult stayed where it was at too. Yeah, as far as shooting goes, it's really just the Catapult. He was shooting at the same target, those Trogs right in front of him. The Harvester, I believe, had a shooting attack too, so he just kind of shot towards the nearest target as well in front of him. I think some of the Trogs in front of him. And then we go to our charge. The only charges we had were my Vanquishers and Annihilators. They tried charging at the Pig Riders. I think my Vanquishers failed, but the Annihilators were able to get in. They were able to make their charge, so they got nice and stuck in with the Pig Riders, which wasn't a bad matchup, you know. Annihilators are nice and tanky. They're not going to have the bestest of damage output, but they can at least trap them and hold themselves for a good while, which is good. But I wasn't able to get the unit that had the Grotmas Gitz token. I think I remember correctly, he might have like done a redeploy to kind of like move in front of them, so they couldn't get charged. So that's a pretty good play on his part to protect him. So he had a unit blocking him from my charge, and then the unit that has the token was able to kind of run off still. I think he was able to still be out of combat range. And I believe the Annihilators got the Pig Riders. There wasn't much damage. They just probably killed like one guy, I believe, during their combat. The Vindicators were still fighting the last of that one Pig Rider. They were able to finish him off. I had my, whatever he's called, the Stormcast Flag Carrier, we'll call him. Had him charge into the Mega Boss. No, the Mortet Guard and the Wizard, I believe, were also fighting the Mega Boss. So he was getting ganged up on. I believe he might have died that round because everybody was just ganging up on him. And that's really all that kind of happened for round 2, turn 2 of Stormcast and Bone Reapers. Okay, so we'll go into round 3. I believe for the initiative, it was the Orcs and the Trogs who got it. To be honest, this round, not going to be too much going on here, mainly because I don't have any like pictures or videos besides just a couple I have right now. Plus the game ended pretty soon after this, but I'll still quickly go over kind of what happened in round 3 as far as I remember. So yeah, with the orcs and Trogs getting initiative, you know, my annihilators weren't able to hold back the pig riders that held the Grotmas Git, so they just kept on moving him towards the corner of the board. You know, the hero phase didn't really have anything to do. You know, yeah, so in movement, they were moving the Grotmas Git back towards the corner of the board. He still had his other pig riders holding up my annihilators. They're going to be in the way of my vanquishers too, so I had to fight through them just to even, you know, make it all the way through, right? My vindicators are still way back here, same with the Mortek guard. We don't really have any chance to catch up. He's got his Trogs kind of, you know, blocking as well to protect. You gotta remember, this is a 5-round match around round 3. It's gonna be really hard for us to catch up. We don't really have any fast movers. You know, the fast mover I had was the Chariot. He died. I guess for the Bone Reaper player, his fast mover is that Harvester, but yeah, he's blocked with all the Trogs. So yeah, I think they just moved the other guys back in the corner. We probably resolved out some shooting. Maybe there was a charge. I don't remember. I don't think so. And then that's probably mainly what happened for round 3, the orcs and Trogs. Us as the Stormcast and the Bone Reapers. If we even did our turn, I think we just went really quickly and maybe this played out like the fights with the Annihilators and the Pigs and the Vanquishers maybe. And maybe there was a fight between the Mortek Guard and the Trogs. Maybe that fight played out. But we didn't continue anything past that just because, like I said, Grotmas gets with the Pigs. It's our turn. We can't really catch up. We're not going to have enough time to even catch up by like round 4 and 5 anyways. So at that point, we were just like, all right, I think we just call the game since we kind of know what's going on. And that's what we did. Called the game at either end of round 3 or maybe top of 4, can't remember. And we said that, you know, the orcs and the Trogs won because they did. They got the Red Gobbo, or the Grotmas Git now, and they held on to him the whole time. You know, it was very lucky. It was very good for them. I guess to kind of recap how the mission went, the orcs definitely got very lucky. You know, they had a good list with everybody being fast movers. That probably helps a lot with this game mode. That way, when you get the Red Gobbo, you just take him and run away, and everybody else can just block. And yeah, if you're not playing with any fast moving units, you're kind of screwed because you just don't have the movement to either get to the Red Gobbo, or if you do have him, run away with him, all that kind of stuff. So after playing this mission, you can kind of figure out like what type of builds would be like the most optimized way to play a mission like this. But it was still really awesome fun though. It's really fun narrative. You know, you're just searching for a guy and holding on to him and fighting over the dude, you know, and that's it. Yeah, it was great fun. So I also want to show you guys the other game mode I made. Now, this game mode is a 100% homebrewed. Yeah, I made this for the Christmas event I held. When we played this mission, I didn't take many pictures or videos of it, but I do have a couple pictures, so I'll share those with you on screen while reading over the rules and explaining this mission. But anyways, let's take a look at the mission I created. For this mission, I called it the Snotling Who Stole Grotmas. So yeah, like the narrative of this event is the Red Gobbo. He's, you know, flying around or running around or whatever, and he's kind of losing his presence as this is happening. So you're there with your army to kind of help him out and get these presents and pick him up and bring him back to your side, your transports, your wagons, your airships, you know, whatever the hell you got, right? And bring him back to the Red Gobbo so he can still have a Grotmas and, you know, bring the gifts out and spread cheer and all that good Christmas crap, right? So like I just said, the whole point of the mission is to get presents, bring them off the field. That's kind of how you score them. The objective of the game is to try to secure more presents than the enemy. I added a little twist to the game too. It's optional though, like players don't have to use it or not, but it's my own NPC rules, and that's involving the Grotmas Git, since he's kind of the arch enemy of the Red Gobbo, right? So if you have the model, or you can substitute something else in, you can actually use him as an NPC during the battle, and he'll, you know, come in and kind of disrupt things. I'll explain that in a second. Yeah, that's an optional thing. You can have that in there or not. Depends if you want to have a random NPC come on the board and start messing around with your stuff. Yeah, here's the rules for the Grotmas Git NPC. I have it that he comes in at round 2. That way players don't just get bum rushed by him and they can set up. One of the players is just roll a d6, doesn't matter who. And whatever the result of your roll is, you actually look at this map I provided, and you replace them on one of those quadrants of the map. And so when the Grotmas Git comes in, he will just move towards the nearest present on the battlefield. And it doesn't matter if a unit's holding one or not. Whatever's the closest present, he'll just zoom towards it. If there is a unit holding it, he'll actually attack that unit and try to take it from him. If there isn't somebody holding it, he'll just run up to it himself, grab it, and run off the field to the nearest battlefield edge. Yeah, if a unit is holding a present, then if you're playing with someone, you can have the other player, kind of control the NPC for you. So it's not just you doing it yourself, which is kind of weird. And yeah, you just use him just like any other unit and model in the game. You do the charge, normal, whatever his movement profile is, do that. Whatever weapons he has for combat and abilities, use those, and just play him like normal. You just use all of his abilities, all of his stuff, and he will just attack that unit until he either wins and takes that present from that unit, and then he'll again try to just continue off the board. Or if he fails and dies, you're just delaying the inevitable, because he'll just come back at the next round. So the point of him is just to be there to disrupt, kind of help cause some chaos. The game is supposed to be fun and crazy, so that's the idea behind it. He'll just come in and either take presents away from you, like something you're trying to get, or if you're already having it, he'll just fight you for it. So I thought it was a fun way to incorporate one of these Christmas models into a game mode and have it actually do something instead of it just being, like a paint piece. All right, and then here's the actual rules for the battle itself. So I have it where the presents will be set up on like the center line of the battlefield, and only those presents will be set up. Actually, I have a map showing you where all the presents can be set up. In all over, attacker, defender territory, you'll see. But yeah, for the very beginning though, as soon as when you're setting up the game, you will only put presents on the map that are on the center line. And that's just there so players don't just sit in their backfield and camp the ones in their field and start taking them off the board. Like, that'd be kind of pointless and not really fun, right? So having it on the center line is there so players kind of have to meet to the middle and fight. That's the reason why it's there. And actually, I didn't add it on my document, but a fun extra rule you can add into this game mode too is I made custom terrain for the Christmas event, and one of my terrain pieces, which you can see in one of the photos too, is like a Christmas tree and has presents on it. So we decided that terrain piece will sit right in the middle of the field, and that's like an infinite pool of presents that you can grab from. So instead of running off to somewhere on the battlefield to pick up a present that's just laying there, you could run directly to the Christmas tree and have a unit pick up a present from that and then take it back. So that's something extra someone can do too. Thought it was a fun way to do it, especially if you have like a Christmas tree terrain piece, or if you've got something you want to act like that. It's a pretty cool, fun extra thing you can do. And so the way also the other presents will come on the battlefield, I have it set up that on round 3, that's when the other presents will come. That's where everything else would just pop up. I think when we played it, we kind of found out that maybe it's a little too much presents. So maybe it's just player's discretion. If they really want to have a bunch of presents on the field, I guess you can do the map that I have and have a bunch of them drop. Or it could be a little more simpler and just have like 1 or 2 presents drop for each like major quadrant, so like 1, 2, 3, 4 quadrants, right? Like northeast, northwest, whatever, I don't know, whatever way you want to call it, right? Just have 1 or 2 presents drops in those zones so you don't feel maybe overwhelmed with the amount of presents that's on the field. We have is that picking up presents is like a movement ability. If you're near a present within like an inch, you can pick it up. That's it. Because it's a movement phase ability, you can only pick them up in movement phase. And so the rules with picking up presents is it's just that simple. If you're next to it, you can pick it up. So say you got like a 12-inch move guy. If it takes 6 inches to move to the present, you can pick it up. And then since you still have 6 more inches to move, you can move 6 more inches if you like. Also, you can run to get to the present, and even after you have the present when you're picking it up. If you're holding your present, you can still charge with it. So there's no restrictions with things like that. The only restriction is we have beasts can't pick it up, and also while you're holding the gift, it's just a -2 to your overall movement. But that doesn't affect like running and charging. Just so if you're moving 6 inches, now your movement's 4 inches when you're holding presents, and that's it. And that's just to kind of simulate like maybe you're encumbered, right? Like the units are all holding presents, like not going to be moving around as fast probably when you're holding a bunch of stuff. So yeah, presents can also be stolen. So say like, the enemy is holding a present, but your unit isn't. You can charge them, attack them. If that unit dies, the one that's holding the presents, then you can take that present from them. And then also, if a unit's holding a present and they die, but there's no unit around them, so in that type of scenario could be, they died from range attacks or a spell, something like that, right? Then the present they're carrying just drops on where they're at, and that's it. It doesn't like, disappear somewhere or respawn back in the Christmas tree or whatever. It just drops where it's at. The way you score these presents is you have to bring them back to your territory side. So again, you can look at the map. We have the red side for attacker, green side for defender. You just have to go to one of those battlefield edges to drop off your present, and that's it. And again, I think something we kind of figured out while we were playing the game too is there's no like penalties for dropping it off. So again, if you're like a 10-inch move unit and it takes you 5 inches to go to the battlefield edge, you can go to the edge, drop it off like a normal ability or something, and then you still have 5 more inches to move, so you can move somewhere else if you want. And also, units will stay on the battlefield too. Maybe some players might think that, oh, if you're delivering a present, they just walk off the field and they're gone. But no, because some games actually do that. Like Frostgrave kind of does that. If you're holding treasures, if you're trying to capture the treasure, that model has to walk off the board basically. That's not what happens in this. They just go to the edge, like drop it off, almost like they're putting it in a wagon or whatever, right? And then they just can stay on the battlefield and continue out doing whatever else. And then yeah, the same round limit for every other game. It's just 5 rounds. But of course, you can always make it longer or shorter, up to the players, what they want. There's no hard rules on that kind of stuff. Or you just keep playing until all the presents are off the field. So whatever comes first. And that's it. That's my homemade Christmas battle plan. It was interesting. It was pretty fun. I wish I kind of playtested it before doing my own event, but that's okay. Live and learn. I could probably try this out next year and work on it and all that stuff. So that's it, guys. That's my first battle report, basically, even though it's kind of half-assed, but whatever. Just wanted to share it with you guys anyways, because it's a fun Christmas battle, and you don't really see custom Christmas battle reports on YouTube, so I figured, hey, why not at least try to show something since I have pictures and videos. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys want, please feel free to even try these battle modes for yourself. Either the GW one with my custom house rules with the squig tokens, and my homemade battle plan. Please feel free to try those out if you want. Probably even maybe leave maybe like a PDF link or something like that in the description too, if you guys want to take a look at it and maybe download it. If you do, let me know how it goes. I'd like to hear some feedback on the game mode and to see if you guys enjoyed it or what critiques and improvements that could be made upon it. Yeah, that's it for this video. I'll see you guys next time.
I have a bad case of diarrhea.